Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am from Group 6, which consists of 5 people. My name is Rana Najia binti Rasani, with metric number 2213782, and my groupmates are Faizatul Lana binti Muhammad Faisal, Husna Nur Ain Khairudin, Hussein Muhammad Abdul Latif, and Al-Hajim Abdul Latif Maid Ahmed. We will be presenting about the Ayyubid Empire in the movie entitled Kingdom of Heaven. These are the flow of what we will be presenting today, which firstly is the introduction of the movie and its historical context, the background of the movie, the rise and fall of the empire, and lastly the conclusion. For the first part of the introduction, I will briefly explain about the movie. The movie Kingdom of Heaven is a historical epic film directed by Ridley Scott and was released in 2005. So, in the movie Kingdom of Heaven, the historical context involves the Ayyubid Empire as a significant Islamic dynasty during the time of the Crusades. The movie is set during the 12th century and revolves around a blacksmith named Balin of Ibelin, played by Orlando Bloom. After personal tragedy and discovering his noble heritage, Balin becomes embroiled in the events of the Crusades. The film explores themes such as political intrigue, conflicts of religion, and personal redemptions as Balin grapples with the complexities of war and strives to find a path to peace in a tumultuous and divided world. The movie is set within the context of the historical events known as the Crusades, which is a series of religious wars fought between Christians and Muslims in the Middle East during the medieval period. Moving on to the second part of the introduction, which I'll be focusing more on the historical context. So, the Ayyubid Empire was founded by Saladin, which was played by Hassan Massoud in the film, a Kurdish military leader and statesman who rose to prominence in the 12th century. During the Third Crusade, the Ayyubid Empire, under Saladin's leadership, achieved a notable success, including the capture of Jerusalem in the year of 1187. This event serves as a crucial backdrop for the film's narrative. Historically, after the fall of Jerusalem to Saladin forces, the city became a focal point for both Christian and Muslim powers during the subsequent Third Crusades. The film explores the complexities of the religious and political landscape of the time, addressing the clash of cultures and religions in the Holy Land. It delves into the tensions and alliances between Christians and Muslims and depicts the challenges faced by those seeking peace and coexistence in a volatile and tumultuous period.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hussein Muhammad Abdul Latif. My metric number is 2029301. And now a background to the Ayyubid Empire. From the sun-baked sands of Arabia to the fertile valleys of the Nile, the 12th century Middle East bore witness to the crumbling of the once mighty Seljuk Empire. This decline created a power vacuum, attracting ambitious warlords and dreamers of empires. In the midst of this tumultuous setting, Salahuddin, born in Tikrit, Mesopotamia in 1138, emerged as a remarkable leader. His father Ayyub, a Kurdish military leader, instilled in him the skills of warfare and loyalty. Serving the Zengid dynasty in Syria, Salahuddin's natural talent for strategy and leadership earned him rapid promotions and a name for tactical brilliance. By the mid-12th century, the Zengids controlled a substantial territory, but internal rivalries threatened their power. Salahuddin, with his charisma and military prowess, became a unifying figure. In 1169, he was appointed Vizier of Egypt, the Zengid crown jewel. Egypt, a land of strategic importance, had long been a battleground. Salahuddin utilized his political acumen and military talents to consolidate power, eliminating rivals. By 1171, he had deposed the last Fatimid Caliph and declared himself Sultan of Egypt, marking the dawn of a new era. Salahuddin's ambition extended beyond Egypt. He aimed to reclaim the Holy Land and reunite the Muslim world. Before embarking on this mission, he secured his borders and consolidated power. He skillfully navigated diplomacy, forming alliances and playing crusader factions against each other. Egypt, under Salahuddin's rule, wasn't just a military powerhouse. It also flourished as a cultural and intellectual center. He actively promoted Sunni Islam, establishing madrasas and mosques. Scholars and artists were drawn to his court, contributing to a rich cultural tapestry. Ayyubid architecture, a distinctive blend of Arab, Persian, and Turkish influences, flourished during this period. Monuments like the Citadel of Cairo stand as testaments to their cultural legacy, reflecting the architectural brilliance of the Ayyubid Empire. Salahuddin skillfully managed military and diplomatic affairs. He reformed the Egyptian military, replaced the Fatimid era slave guards, and strengthened the country's defenses. Diplomatically, he forged alliances with neighboring Muslim powers and played crusader factions against each other. Under Salahuddin's rule, Egypt became a cultural and intellectual hub. The arts and sciences thrived under his patronage, contributing to the vibrancy of the Ayyubid Empire. Salahuddin's empire was characterized by cultural inclusivity. He respected the diverse traditions of his subjects, promoting tolerance among the various ethnicities and cultures within his realm. The rise of the Ayyubids was born from the ashes of fallen empires, nurtured by the ambition of Salahuddin, and sustained by a unique blend of military strength, religious zeal, and cultural inclusivity. His foundation laid the groundwork for one of the most formidable empires the Middle East would ever witness. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Faizatul Liana binti Muhammad Faisal. So I will continue to discuss about the rise of the empire in three aspects, which are military prowess, political strengthening, and economic growth. So, in terms of military prowess, Salahuddin's thoughts were constantly on jihad along God's path. Salahuddin's favorite topic of conversation, according to Bahauddin, was jihad because of his intense desire to combat the Crusaders. So, in this case, it can be said that Salahuddin al-Ayyubi's thoughts is always jihad in the path of God. Therefore, he has made the topic of the jihad is said to be because, according to Bahauddin, he had a strong desire to fight the Crusaders. So, with that, Salahuddin always focused all his energy on building an army, which is to build a strong army and searching for weapons and also mujahids to use in the jihad. Not only that, Salahuddin believed that battling the Crusaders on the battlefield was the best way to overcome them, not by attacking their bases. Salahuddin's Muslim army armed with water to defeat the Crusaders. Salahuddin's army forced them to camp in a valley and attack King Guy's soldiers. So, from here, it can be seen that Salahuddin believed that fighting the Crusaders on the battlefield was the best strategies to overcome their military and not by attacking the enemy's bases. This is because Salahuddin found the chance to achieve victory was very small. So, because of this, the Islamic army that was supplied with water managed to defeat the Crusaders with the available military strength. And also, Salahuddin's army forced them to camp in the valley and eventually attack King Guy's army. So as a result, a number of Crusader leaders were taken prisoner, along with the Christian king of Palestine and his brother Reginald of the nobility of Chantilly. Eventually, the Muslim army defeated the Crusaders and left them alone. and it is said that 30 Christian soldiers were arrested and tied with 10 ropes by each Muslim soldiers. We will be moving to the next slide, which is the political consolidation. So, in this slide, we will be focusing on the political, which involve the Palestine and the management of Salahuddin leadership. So, in order to expel the Crusaders who were in charge of Palestine, the leadership of Salahuddin concentrated on uniting the Islamic world. He consolidated power over tiny Islamic countries, drove out traitors, and brought Syria, Egypt, Sudan, Yemen, and the Hijaz together. And also, along with seizing control of territory in North Africa, he also supplied a sizable Islamic military force to put an ending to the Salih army's occupancy of Baitul Maqdis. So, it can be said that from the political aspect, Salahuddin's leadership was found to focus on uniting the Islamic world with the aim of expelling the Crusaders who were responsible for Palestine. In this case, he consolidated power over the small Muslim states, and also he tried to throw out the traitors and brought here Syria, Egypt, Sudan, Yemen, and the Hijaz together. Not only that, he also supplied an Islamic military force in a large amount to end the occupation of the Crusaders in Jerusalem, or which is also known as Palestine, along with controlling the territory in North Africa. So, move to the next slide. I will be talking about the economic growth. So, in this slide, it is written that Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, a 57 years old man, passed away on 27 of Safar, which is 589 Hijrah, leaving only 47 dirhams as his property, leaving his family in debt. He also consolidated power over tiny Islamic countries, drove out traitors, and brought Syria, Egypt, Sudan, Yemen, and the Hijaz together. So, in this case, it is also stated that the leader prioritized the country and those in need, and also donating all his assets without seeking personal gain and avoiding unethical misuse of government property. So, it can be said that Salahuddin died when he was 57 years old on 27 Safar. In this case, he did not leave any property, but only left 47 dirhams as his property. But however, he left his family in debt. And additionally, he also prioritized the country and those who need it more than his own interests. For example, he contributed all his assets without seeking personal gain and thus avoided the unethical misuse of government property. So I think that's all from me. So next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Husna Nurain and I'm going to continue to the fall of the Ayyubid Empire part. This dynasty was still unable to build a long-term empire in part due to the lack of unity within the realms when it came to the autonomy. After the death of prominent Ayyubid leaders, succession dispute among Saladin's descendants led to internal conflict as different factions within the ruling family vied for control. This power struggle created instability, diverting attention and resources away from addressing external threat. The inability to establish a unified leadership contributed to the Ayyubid Empire decline. Because of the dispute, it has caused the rise of the Mamluk, a military caste with significant influence which has played a role in shaping the political landscape after Saladin's death. Mamluk leader often exerted control over the Ayyubid Sultanate, further complicating the internal dynamic. The second point is about the Mongol invasion during the fall of the Ayyubid Empire, which have occurred in the mid-13th century. It has been led by Hulagu Khan, a grandson of Genghis Khan. The Mongol invaded the Middle East, targeting the Islamic territories. Furthermore, in 1258, they captured and sacked Baghdad, the capital of Abbasid Caliphate, leading to the collapse of the Ayyubid Empire. The invasion had devastating consequences, causing widespread destruction and reshaping the political landscape in the region. Moreover, the Mongol invasion also impact extended beyond military conquest, influencing the cultural and economic aspect of the region. The destruction of major cities, including Baghdad, resulted in the loss of invaluable knowledge and cultural heritage. The famous House of Wisdom, a center of learning, suffered immense damage. The invasion has marked the end of the Islamic Golden Age and has lasting effect on the power dynamic within the Middle East. The Mongol also has established the Ilkhanate, a state in the conquered territories, contributing to a complex period of transition and adaptation for the affected societies. Moving on to the next point, the Ayyubid Empire faced a series of challenges that played a significant role in its gradual loss of territory to the Mamluk and other regional powers. Internal conflict and succession struggle within the Ayyubid ruling family weakened the empire's central authority. This internal strife made it difficult to maintain a cohesive defense against external threats. Moreover, external pressure, including invasion by Mongol and Crusaders, posed serious challenge to the Ayyubid Empire's stability. This military campaign strained the empire's resources and further weakened its territorial control. The emergence of the Mamluk, a slave warrior class, also contributed to the Ayyubid decline. Over the time, the Mamluk gained influence and power within the Ayyubid military, eventually seizing control and establishing their own independent rule. As a result of this internal and external pressure, the Ayyubid Empire gradually lost control over its territory to the Mamluk and other neighboring regional powers. This process marked a significant shift in the political landscape of the region during the later years of the Ayyubid rule. That's all from me, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. My name is Abdul Latif Ma'ad. I am from Group 6, and today I will be talking about our conclusion to the Ayyubid Empire. We will mainly be, for me, I will be mainly talking about what we can learn from them, as well as their impact to the world and the legacy that they have left behind for the Ummah. So, first and foremost, I would like to talk about some of the impact that they had to the world around them. So one of the more longer lasting ones I actually would like to mention is in regards to Egypt. They turned Shia dominated Egypt, which was from the Fatimid Empire time, into a Sunni one. Now the way they have done this is, and this is another impact they have done to society around them, is through the construction of madrasas or schools, as well as hospitals and other constructions that fueled intellectual thought for the people of the Ayyubid Empire. Furthermore, the Ayyubids were especially well known for their arts, mainly in ceramics, inlaid metalwork, etc., and even in their building designs. And through all of this, it clearly reflects how the Ayyubids really put thought into educating the people of their respective empire. Now, the Ayyubids, as I mentioned earlier, they are a Sunni Muslim empire, meaning that they follow most of the teachings that were taught from the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and not just omit certain teachings just because they don't like certain individuals. Now, this is reflected in their architecture, which was meant to represent their Sunni heritage. Additionally, Muslim women were among the highest contributors to Ayyubid architecture, meaning that they did not care what your background was, as long as you had the skills, they will gladly take you in. Some noteworthy mentions are like the Cairo Citadel, which is a very well-known construction, as well as many other structures such as towers and whatnot that you can find throughout their land. As for military reasons, they have mostly conquered the lands such as Egypt, northern Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. Now, through all of this that I've mentioned, how they have impacted the world around them, through the conquering of lands that I mentioned earlier, as well as how they have developed their people intellectually and critically, to get a more in-depth idea, I can actually recommend two sources here. One being a movie known as The Kingdom of Heavens. Now, the movie still has its own exaggerations of how the Ayyubids have lived, of course, or maybe inaccuracies, but It shows a very good depiction of how life was like during the Ayyubid time. Additionally, I would also recommend an article, a very well-written article called Ayyubid Sultanate of Egypt. Now, while the name may suggest that it's mostly talking about Egypt, however, the article itself delves deeper into Ayyubid society, as well as how they have managed most of their lands and not just Egypt. Thank you, and I will gladly show some pictures here. So, the next few things I want to show everybody is these pictures. Now, these pictures are actually buildings, remnant from the Ayyubid times, that you can actually find today in the modern world if you were to visit lands such as Iraq, Syria, as well as Egypt. Some of the buildings that they have constructed still remain to this day standing. So for anyone that is interested, they can go and see them. Now, for this last picture that I want to show, again, it's just more pictures of how Ayyubid architecture was like. And as you can see here, it is more related to like interior design. So you can see some of the inner workings of how the Ayyubids constructed their buildings and architecture and whatnot. So very clearly they were very talented, very skilled in regards to designing and architecture. And that is all that we have to present today. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody.